everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun project video we're going to be back on the CNC machine doing more V-carving. We are going to make a V-carved sign of my friend's logo to give to one of my favorite subscribers and one of my longtime subscribers on the channel. My buddy Devin and his family live down in Conway, South Carolina, and this past September we were finally able to meet up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina when we took our family vacation. We went out to eat with them at Hard Rock Cafe, and it just blesses me and humbles me to be able to spend time with people that think the world of me. And I've made Devin a little keychain and nightlight with the logo we're going to do back here on the CNC machine, and I sent it down to them. And I want to make them something nice after that meal and getting all the encouragement and the happiness and the good vibes and everything and photos together finally. I want to make them something extra nice. So I've already got my material loaded into the CNC machine on the spool board here. I made a bunch of these panels earlier in the spring, so I'm wanting to get them used up. I've already got it cut partially to size, and the paper you see on the material behind me is just blue computer paper that I've used spray adhesive to attach to our material. And what that purpose is to just mask off the areas that are going to be painted later on in the video. It does not dull the CNC bit, it does not gunk it up or anything, it just basically cuts through it. I know there's more logical ways to mask off things with proper products that are meant for that purpose, but since I don't use the CNC machine as much as I probably should be using it out here in the workshop, this method works good for me and for what I do. Now, I've already got their First Due Woodworks logo, that is Devin's dad's logo, loaded into the Vectric software, and I've got a little slideshow showing you how I designed everything. But when we come back, we will be on the CNC machine and we will get started. So, without further ado, let me get the air filtration unit turned on and we'll rock and roll. And as I said, I've arranged these few pictures here in the Vectric V-Carve software to show how we done the designing process. We took the logo for First Due Woodworks and vectorized it for use on the CNC machine, and I just stretched it to the size of our material, and we got a preview of what we hope the finished project will look like. And it doesn't take long to design everything in Vectric. Once you get the hang of it, it's a very straightforward software. But over here on the CNC machine, I will measure out the actual dimensions of the sign, and I will zero out the CNC machine, and I'll use a piece of paper just like I do with the 3D printers to level everything out. And once we have it set to 0, we can begin carving. And obviously this footage is sped up, but it took around 30 minutes for it to carve everything out, and you can see how the V-carving bit from Tools Today is cutting straight through the computer paper, and it's not gunking up anything or dulling the bit. And it will just help to, when we get to the painting part of the project, to mask the areas off. And by no means is this a perfect method, it's just how I do things. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And I will also leave links to First Due Woodworks down in the description box below as well, so I encourage everyone to follow them. They do amazing projects out of wood, and they are very skilled craftsmen themselves. But they took us out to eat when we were in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, to Hard Rock Cafe, Devin and his dad and mom, and we had a great time just sitting there talking woodwork and the YouTube world and the tools that we like to use and everything. And I just had to repay the kindness, and this was the way I thought about doing it. I wanted to make them something here on the channel, and since my buddy Devin really follows me along on all the journeys and comments on all my posts and videos, I really wanted to do a video making them something, and I asked them if it was okay, and they said yeah. But once again, it's going through here and carving everything out. I do not have dust collection on this CNC machine because, again, I don't use it as much as I probably should, and I'm trying to change that and really maximize what this tool can do. I'll just use the shop vac to get everything up afterwards. But after all the carving is done, we will move the CNC head back to where it belongs at the back and remove the piece. Again, it was just screwed down to the spool board. And we get our first glimpse of the sign. And over here with my Marathon rotary tool by Bearwood Supply, I am taking a little V-carve bit in it and cleaning up any imperfections and cleaning out all of the dust so we can proceed to painting. A very unique tool and versatile tool to have in the workshop, that rotary tool. But now we will give it several coats of black paint, and it will sit by the doorway well before sunrise and dry. And while it's drying, I want to introduce you guys to my buddy Devin. There he is. There we were waiting to go into Hard Rock Cafe. And I really appreciate all of their kindness. And there is his dad as well with Devin. And again, I just want to thank them for their friendship and hospitality. After the sign had dried around an hour, I'm taking a heat gun to break loose the spray glue and peel off the computer paper. And you can see what I'm talking about now, where it masked off the areas that needed painting. And I will not bore you guys with peeling all of this off. It's just a tedious process. And then we can proceed to sanding, and I'm beginning with a very aggressive sandpaper here. And again, I will not show you all of the sanding process because it's just such a long procedure. But I will go from the rough sandpaper I'm using here to finally a very high grit sandpaper in the corded sander, which has a little bit more power than the cordless sander I have. But it was nice and silky smooth by the time I got done with it. And now it was time to cut it to its final size over here on the table saw. And I'm just eyeballing this to where it looks symmetrical. And then I had charged up the air compressor, and we can blow out all of that excess sawdust. And it will be time for finishing with several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And once that dries, the project is complete. And here we have the completed First Due Woodworks sign, cut out completely over on the CNC machine using the V-carving technique, and it came out amazingly well. All of the details are nice and crisp. You can easily read the name First Due Woodworks, and the detail at the top with the fire truck and the fireman came out exceptionally well as well. Now keep in mind, I've done this in my style of making things with the computer paper and everything to mask off areas, and there is some slight bleeding on this with some of the paint and everything, but I think it gives it character and makes it look even more rustic, which is what I was going for, a nice little rustic sign. Now it is still tacky. It's that time of year where it takes things longer and longer to dry, so once it dries completely overnight, I will sign the back of it and probably put a nice little quote on the back to them and clear coat that, and then glue my business card on the back and add the hanger as well, like I do with all of my V-carve signs. But again, I think it came out great. It took around 30 minutes for it to V-carve this. I stayed in the shop the whole time it was V-carving and kept an eye on it to make sure everything came out right and nothing went wrong while the V-carving was going on. I was doing other tests over on the laser engraver while this was going, and I had my music going, but it came out great, and I took longer to sand it, it seems, than it took to V-carve it. It's just you do a lot of sanding. Masking everything off with that computer paper is not the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to get like this protective film that goes over it to really mask everything off. This is just my way of going about things out here in the workshop and how I make these V-carve signs. And again, I don't use the CNC machine as much as I probably should. I'm trying to get better and keeping myself reminded that it's out here in the workshop and it's always ready to go. But I hope my buddy Devin really loves this. I had a great time meeting them and hanging out with them and eating at Hard Rock Cafe in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I just wanted to make something to show my thanks and an appreciation for the amazing meal we had together. And I really hope they like this. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you guys like watching me make it. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos, and I'll also leave links to First Due Woodworks Instagram page down in the description box below as well. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.